You know that feeling you get when you're driving and you suddenly realize that you've been on autopilot for the last 20 miles? Some call it being asleep at the wheel. That's exactly what it's like when your shadow is running your life. If you've been doing the work like meditating, praying, and reading all the self-help books, but you still can't break through to that next level, this video is going to help you. And in this video, I'll be revealing the 5 warning signs that your shadow is still running your life. So stay to the end where I'll show you exactly what you can do about it. I want to welcome you to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sean and I've been on a spiritual path for over 30 years. And I help souls just like you to reprogram your unconscious minds using advanced energy practices that actually work. So let's get into today's video. The first warning sign that your shadow is still running your life is that you're constantly triggered by the same types of people. When you run into those people who are more advanced than you, do you become irritated? Do you secretly wish they would just stop talking about all their success? I used to struggle with this for years, but here's what I've learned. The problem is never with them, and it's always with you. All your shadow is doing is showing you those qualities that you've rejected in yourself. I had this old business associate who would just set me off when he walked into the room. His arrogance and his need for attention, dropping names. I remember leaving those meetings drained and angry. But through shadow work, I discovered I was jealous. Deep down, I wanted that same confidence, and I wanted to be seen and noticed. But I've been programmed to believe that good people don't seek attention and that spiritual people are humble. So I buried those desires so deep that seeing it in others triggered a lot of negative behavior. And here's the key point. People who learn to integrate their shadow don't feel threatened by other people's success. But when you've rejected your right to express yourself like that, seeing others doing it feels like a personal attack. The second warning sign is that you have explosive emotions that you can't control. Have you ever just completely lost it over something that was trivial? I know I have. When my wife would leave a dirty dish in the kitchen sink, and I was suddenly screaming about being disrespected. And it wasn't about the dish. It was my shadow acting out from behind the scenes. And this was a result of me shoving my emotions into that hidden closet deep within my unconscious mind. Another example would be when someone would cut me off in traffic and I would just go ballistic. I would scream and honk my horn and get all worked up about it. And again, it wasn't just overreacting to the person cutting me off. I was reacting to every time I felt dismissed or overlooked or disrespected. This was really about every time I wanted to stand up for myself, but I didn't. So here's a tip for this. Start paying close attention to your triggered behavior. Keep a pen and pad close by and start writing everything down. Don't worry about fixing everything. Just capture it all on paper. Then you go back and you see if you can begin to identify any patterns. Just remember, the problem always starts with you and it's never about the other person. The third warning sign is that you feel like your life is like Groundhog Day. There was a movie called Groundhog Day back in the 90s and Bill Murray was in it. And in the movie, he kept waking up to the same day over and over again. He knew he was trapped, but he couldn't do anything about it. He didn't have the knowledge. So if you feel like you're living the same boring day over and over again, your shadow is definitely in control. For example, if you're struggling with the same toxic relationships where you attract the same dysfunctional people, why do you think this keeps happening? It's because you keep attracting them. And this has a lot to do with your vibration to an extent, but it's mainly because you haven't dealt with your shadow. I was programmed to believe that I couldn't have love in my life unless I earned it through suffering. So I would pick business partners who were overbearing or very difficult to get along with. And every real estate flip was difficult and filled with problems. Even though the property addresses were different, I was always dealing with the same house. Can you see the pattern that I was stuck in? It wasn't until I started to integrate my shadow that I started attracting new people into my life who actually appreciated me and wanted to work together. So unless you begin to face and integrate your shadow, you will continue to live the same day over and over again. And that's tragic. The fourth warning sign that your shadow is still running your life is that you won't accept compliments from others. For example, when someone compliments your work, you might respond by saying, "Oh, that was nothing," or "Maybe I just got lucky." That's your shadow making an appearance and you don't even realize it. It's that hidden sense of shame that deep down, you don't think you're worthy of praise and recognition. But I built my identity as a humble spiritual guy who didn't need any recognition. This was part of my Christian program. I was taught to always deflect compliments and give all the glory to God. But underneath all that, my soul was screaming for attention. But I began to learn over time that it was very healthy to accept compliments from others. You see, my shadow integration helped me to transform my shame into new confidence. Here's something that will help with this. For 1 week, when someone compliments you, just say thank you. No matter how it makes you feel, just look the person in the eye, smile, and say thank you. Over time, this simple practice will begin to reprogram your unconscious mind. Even if you don't believe it at first, trust me, over time, it will become true for you. And the final warning sign is that you're living out someone else's expectation for you. What do I mean by that? This is very common in families where one of the parents was a doctor and the children are expected to attend medical school and follow suit. This seems noble at first. A son wanting to please his father or mother by becoming a doctor. But what if that soul came here with a completely different mission? One that has nothing to do with becoming a doctor. And the sad part is that when the child grows up and becomes a doctor, his or her parents are proud and happy, but the child realizes that they've made a grave mistake. And they're the ones that end up leading lives of quiet desperation. I had to learn this lesson the hard way, and I'll share it with you. You didn't come here to make your parents happy. You came here to make yourself happy. Now, don't get me wrong, making your parents happy can be a good thing. But it has to come from what you wanted to do with your life, not what they expected. You see, I lived this out for a big part of my life when I was younger. I wanted to please my parents and make them proud by becoming this successful entrepreneur. And I did that for many years. But in the end, I wasn't happy and I struggled to find meaning and purpose in my life. And it wasn't until my business crashed and my marriage almost ended that I asked myself, if nobody was watching, would I still keep doing this? It wasn't until I started facing my darkness that I realized that I had set up my life all wrong. I decided to make other people happy. And that's not why I came here. If you stayed with me to this point, I'll assume that you can see several of these warning signs in your own life. And I hope you do. This could be the beginning of a meaningful change in your life. Just realize that integrating your shadow isn't always easy to understand. You just have to do it. But with the right tools, you can begin to invite it into your life and embark on that journey of healing. If you want to integrate your shadow, I have a link to my advanced energy practice course in the description below. The practices will help you to build the power you need to integrate your shadow safely and effectively. And if this video has opened up your eyes to what's really running your life, please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you for watching, and I'm wishing you all the best in your spiritual journey.